Hi everyone, welcome to my Shoreline studio. I'm Sybil Muschik. Behind the camera is Joshua Blanc. Now today we're working with Raku. I just want to show you a vase I have. And Raku dates back to the 1600s in Japan when they were working for cups for their tea ceremonies. And it's quite a dangerous process for pottery because they use a really hot kiln and then they stick it into water, and I guess the oxidation process is changed and it creates an iridescent kind of shimmer and it crackles the glaze. Now, contemporary potters use sawdust. They just have a big galvanized garbage can and they put sawdust in there, then they dump the raku into the sawdust and haul it out with big tongs because it's still very hot. And hopefully it hasn't exploded, because a lot of times raku will explode because it's such a strange process going from such a hot temperature and then cooling it down so dramatically. Anyway, these crackles are wonderful. And we're going to try and replicate it in a gel print in our own way. And I just wanted to make a mask first. So I have, this is a stencil material, plastic stencil material. I have cut it 8 by 10. I've put it in half. And we're going to draw, I've put some marks as to where I want things to go. And we'll just draw it out. And it goes in nicely, and it has sort of a belly on it. And then it goes down like this. And then it has a bottom stand. And you're going to adjust it a little bit as you go. Then you turn it over. Hopefully you make sure that's dry on the other side. And then you trace it off exactly the same way. And this way you'll get it symmetrical, and it's fairly fast. Make sure this is right. Now if you open that up, I've just done a little bit of double sticky tape here to hold it together. And then you can just adjust it a little bit here. And here. And there you have your container. All right, so all we do now is cut it out. Right, now we place this back on your 8 by 10 gel plate. You need a fairly hefty sheet of plastic for this. You could use sleeves and transparencies, but I was doing that earlier and they are a bit of a problem. This way it fits down nicely. Now replace your, and make sure this is the drawn side, right? So if you're not sure, put a F on for front on both your mask and the stencil, so that you get it exactly right. Otherwise, you're going to have gaps, because nothing is ever totally perfect. Okay, now you can lift this negative. We'll be using it later. So we'll set it aside in a safe place. And we'll do our base layer. Now, our base layer is this beautiful sap green that's like a jade green. And I'm going to add a little bit of iridescent medium to it, because Raku tends to be iridescent. Just a little bit. And maybe a little bit of the Prussian blue, just to darken it a hair. Okay, so we'll roll that out. You can run, of course, right over top of the little mask. And it's all right if one side is cooler than the other side. That makes it interesting. I've got a little bit more blue on that side. Okay, brayer off. Take a little bit of it off. I want it to dry very rapidly. Now we're going to use some of our recycled materials just for some interesting shapes in the background. And you can crop them off, of course. And you can even run some of those edges up. If you do a few verticals, then it stabilizes the composition. This one too has got nice. And maybe a smaller. Usually acrylic ink or paint dries very quickly. And of course, until you want it to dry. So we'll work with this a little bit. I want to dry it fairly rapidly because we're going to be using some acrylic, well actually I think it's more water-based. This is calligrapher's white ink. I've already put some into a little container here. Hopefully it's not too fluid. I shook up the bottle quite a bit. That's been a problem because all the pigment goes to the bottom and then it's nothing but liquid that you're working with. But we have to wait for this to dry. We'll take an interlude. I want to make sure that's dry so that we can put the calligrapher's ink, some nice white marks on our background. Okay, so it's almost dry, but I tried some marks here and it's not breaking up on me. So I think we're going to go for it. So squiggles, make it look sort of oriental if you can without hopefully saying anything you shouldn't be. Yeah. Yeah. The Japanese, of course, have got wonderful calligraphy. And the sumi painting is quite a lot of fun to learn. I have tried my hand and I'm not very good at it, but it takes many, many years of practice and patience, and then more practice and more patience. I'm putting some vertical lines and horizontal lines, horizontal here down at the base, to give it almost like a tabletop kind of feeling. And we'll do most of the vertical lines here at the top. So lots of crosses and things. Then when we finally get to the container, the vase, then we'll do some calligraphy in black with India ink. But right now we're just going to focus on this background. Now we remove the mask of the vase, put it in a safe place, probably the sink. You should have some nice sharp edges. Now I'm just wondering if we can print this as is, if there's still enough tack here. I think so. I think the paint is still workable. The lines, the calligraphy lines will run a little bit, but that's okay. So you can wait till it's almost dry and then put your calligraphy marks on there and then print. Or you can wait for it to totally dry, then put on some acrylic medium, the super matte medium, this stuff here. And but it does take a long time to release. So here at Shoreline Studio, we're always in a rush, and things happen as a result. Lots of disasters. But hey, nothing gained unless you try stuff. Let's see if we can get a nice print out of this. It's not bad. We didn't get everything, but I kind of want the vase to show. Here it's a little bit more. So we have our background. Some areas more than others, but we'll probably be picking it up later anyway. And the evidence of the ink is quite nice. We might do a little bit more on there too. Our vase is looking good. All right, now we replace, and because we've put that F on there, we know that's the front. And you should be able to line it up perfectly because you've got the image of the vase still on the plate. Just watch out for air bubbles. It's better. Some of them, the little bubbles will not behave, but it's in the right place, so we're good. Okay, so now we do the background color for the vase. And we just need a little roller for that. You can go right over top of the, providing it's behaving itself here. just have to hold it down, I guess. Yeah. Okay, and let that dry a little bit, and then we'll put the black ink over top. And we'll start here with the circle. And there's a ring here. And a ring at the bottom of the darker color. This also helps it make it look dimensional, because we're making a curve here. And correct this a little bit, make sure it's and that's just for position. You can start doing some of the crackle marks, and they're right at the top here as well. And off the rim. Because I'm doing the ink over top of the base layer, it's not breaking up so much, beading on you. Then down in here. And we don't have to put too many marks on. Just make it look like little cells. Okay, I'm painting in this base. So that looks darker, because you're looking inside the vase. And then we just paint this in. I'm seeing this as being going a little too high. I want to suggest. Be considerate of your edges. And we'll do the base here. Go back into it as if it's transparent. Remove your mask. Get all this stuff out of the way, harm's way. And print. Lined up. Now we might need some matte medium. I have a little black blob there that went under, but we can remove that. Okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll let that set up a little bit more, and we'll be right back. So we're ready to pull the print and hope for the best. It's always a challenge. Well, the medium seems to be the best thing to release. White sometimes, if it doesn't pick up the bottom layer, we'll just make a big white layer. And that's a problem. Okay, let's see what we come up with. Our white calligrapher's ink has come out pretty good. The iridescence is there. Bit of a central line there, but that's okay. And our Crackle looks like a Crackle glaze. A small sort of representation of what a vase is, and yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. So thank goodness. We went through quite a bit to get this one. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. We post episodes on Thursdays when we can every week, and hope you'll join us then. Take care of yourselves and your families as always. Be kind to one another. Bye for now.